Hey, it's Midnight in the Bay podcast. I'm your host, Alex Woody. Your fifth favorite Woody if you're a guy, first favorite Woody, hopefully, if you're my wife. This is episode 183. They said it couldn't be done. They say it wouldn't be done, but look at us. We're doing it. So I got a guest here, guys. I know you're pumped. You're like, oh, thank God he's not going to be rambling about his family and how crazy it is. Yes, we have a guest. He looks like probably what your dad would have looked like in the 70s. Thick mustache, thick hairy chest. This guy is the number one sex symbol in Bay Area comedy right now. He's a funny comedian. He runs great shows in Oakland, F-Bomb Comedy. Follow that on all the social network gizmos. Give it up for Marty Cunnie.
Hey, I really
Hey,
am. That is my brand. I am the sex symbol of Bay Area comedy. That's what I go for.
yeah, I figured because you wear the shirts that are unbuttoned, you know what I mean?
It's
And then
funny
you,
because that's
yeah.
almost it comes off that way, but it's really just because like I sweat so much that like I'm just
Mm.
trying to air out. You know,
Well, you look hairy. Are you Irish?
I am hairy, Irish Italian, so
That's me
swarthy
too.
people, very swarthy.
No, that's me too. My grandma was Irish and grandfather was Italian.
Those Catholics stick together, man. They like to make babies.
Well, he dark hair and he saw the redhead and he just fell
Yeah.
at Berkeley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they met at Berkeley. They're like, you should go there. And then they saw my grades. They're like, okay, you should become a janitor.
You should you should be a janitor at Berkeley, like
Yeah.
Goodwill Hunting style, you know?
Oh, but
Maybe one
but
day you'll
not good
just
at
figure it out.
or not good at math, just Goodwill
I like
Hunting
the
if you
idea
didn't make
of
it.
like every fucking school after that movie came out just having a problem with janitors like scribbling things on whiteboards. Come
That's good.
on. Come on, it's me too.
I want to know though, the funny drunk one who thinks like he saw Goodwill Hunting, but he's like, I'm gonna do my version, just like drew dicks,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
big dicks.
It's a
He's
bunch
like,
of
this would.
like math equations with like art classes with just like dicks everywhere. I mean, that's probably what the janitors were already doing, so he wasn't really changing things up too much, you know.
Did you have rumors about your janitors at school? Like,
No, our janitors, well, in high school, our janitors were all really nice dudes. Everyone liked them.
oh, okay,
They were like well, like respected, like even more than like some of the teachers.
yeah. Um, there was a rumor about one Jose in elementary, and I swear I might even make this up to be funny. Apparently, he had a detachable dick in this door in the bathroom that you couldn't get to. Okay, I got bullied a lot. Yeah, that's no, but that was like a rumor, and like you believed it as a kid. Like maybe that could maybe be true. Like
Well, when you say detachable dick, what do you mean? A dildo,
like
like a
like a
strap on?
penis. Like they said detachable penis. We didn't know dildo or strap on then.
Yeah, detachable penis was also a very popular song back then.
Yeah, maybe
I
a guy was telling me about a song, and I saw Jose walk by, and I just put the two together. That's my Goodwill Hunting moment.
That's your genius manifesting
Yeah,
right there.
making false accusations against
Yeah,
people.
against your
I
school
probably,
janitors.
I probably got him fired.
Yeah, this is
He
how I'm
was
going to
like an
get.
immigrant.
This is how I'm going to move ahead in life. It's just.
This is why Samantha Voss, when I gave her a necklace in fifth grade, she threw it in the pool. I was such a pussy, dude. I just like gave her the necklace and then like ran away
In fifth grade?
in fifth grade. And then I was like, hey, did any word from Samantha about the necklace? Like, I didn't hear anything. And like, she was obviously avoiding me, but I didn't realize. And I was too much of a pussy to go up to her. And then like a buddy told me, like, rumor is she threw it in the pool. Fuck, I'm such a pussy.
What? How does a fifth grader get a necklace?
So it was a fake one, and my mom used to have like fake jewelry in the closet. She'd
Oh, so
have
you
like,
stole your mom's jewelry.
no, it was like I don't. It wasn't in like the jewelry box. It was like with the old festive placemats and all that. So I don't even know if it was a necklace.
You probably stole like an heirloom or something.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably right. Probably
Yeah.
was something really, but that's what you do for love.
They made it through that's like the only thing that survived the Great Depression with them, and now it's in some fifth grader's pool.
Well, blame Disney because I had just seen Robin Hood. And I was like, steal from the rich, give to the poor. You know.
Were you the rich?
Yeah.
Steal from myself and give to this poor girl who apparently has a pool.
Yeah. Well, she probably wasn't poor. And we were in Pleasanton. I grew up in Pleasanton. We were all semi-rich.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in Nevada. It's all like no one's really poor. There's some
Right.
people that are less well off, and there's
Yeah.
some people that are rich. But
Yeah.
there's no real. You never really saw like the level of poverty that you see in other places.
There's this guy that had an elevator in his house.
Oh yeah,
Did you guys have houses like that?
I had an aunt like that. No, because we didn't have that big of hills.
Oh, okay.
I think I had an aunt, or like my aunt's sister in Berkeley or Oakland Hills. She had an elevator in her house, and we thought that was the wildest shit. Because it's like,
Yeah.
what's it? It got like 4 stories at most. Like,
Yeah,
how
it's
fucking
it's
much do
very
you hate stairs?
well, it's very pretentious, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
an
like that's
elevator
like
to go just to the second floor.
yeah. I mean, it's great when like that's in an apartment building and you don't want to
Yeah.
walk upstairs, but to like have the gall to install that in your house instead of like another room for your family, it's like no, here's a fucking elevator shaft.
Right, but here's the thing: we're talking shit. God knows what we'd get if we were rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I just get a wider house, not a taller house.
Yeah, I would do it YouTube. I used to work inside YouTube, and they have like slides, like, and you
It's
just take a slide down,
all those fucking tech places are so fucking childish. It's hilarious.
I know, it's like Blank Check started all those.
Yeah, they saw like Richie Rich and they're like, this is perfect.
Dude, they were and they didn't care like if you stole from them.
Yeah.
I was a maniac, and I worked in the cooking department. I was in just a bad state, and they had like a game room, like Xboxes, PlayStations, and I might have known someone that borrowed stuff and didn't return it, if you know what I mean. And no one said anything.
How much dollar value would you say your friend borrowed and neglected to return?
Oh, I don't know.
And you are recording this.
Yeah, I mean, also, it could be a fake story. We're comedians.
You're right. We're comedians. We just kind of spitball here. We talk shit.
Yeah. We may say inappropriate things, like Tony Hinchcliffe,
Yeah, maybe
stop Asian hate.
Maybe the Jews made us do this or something. Like who
knows?
Well,
let's be honest. It was probably Palestine. Let's be honest. Politics.
Let's not be so quick to blame Israel here. They've got enough to deal with right now.
Yeah, well, we should be blaming the Swedish, so no one ever talks about them. Have you seen Children of the Corn? Trust them.
I'm trying to think of what movies has a Swedish bad guy, and there's very few, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, this is a true story about YouTube. They had alcohol all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And we just drink those in the morning, me and Carlos, and we'd sit on the toilets there because they all have the what's it called? The water. They all have heated bidets. So that's what I do on my break: sit on the bidet, drink a Coors. America.
That's a pretty good way to live.
Yeah, so it was cool. I was just kind of in a bad state. I was eating a lot of Doritos back then and wasn't thinking straight. You know what I mean?
That's why it's the Doritos?
Yeah. Well, and drugs, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, we all go a little crazy sometimes in life. Maybe not, but
what kind of Doritos are we talking here?
Colombian pharmaceutical.
That's my favorite kind. Yeah. Can't get into that Guatemalan.
Well, what happened with me is I didn't really go the college route. I mean, I tried it, and then I moved home, and everyone that was home were like losers and like people getting into trouble, And
generally why people leave.
And that's when I became a greaser, and I had hair, and I slicked it back, and I wore a leather jacket, and I had a hog, and
Did you roll your sleeves up? Do you have
Roll the
cigarette
sleeves up. Yeah, Marlboro,
Oh man.
marijuana.
Do you have a cool a switchblade comb?
Didn't have that. Wish I did. Didn't have
Mm.
that. But I did eat at Hooters a lot. Which
real
is
gre-
closed.
real
R.I.P.
greaser stuff.
Well,
Dude,
greasy food.
I've never been to a Hooters or like been around a Hooters where I've actually seen waitresses who were like stacked. I feel like that's a
Yeah, yeah,
big
I could see
misadvertisement.
that. I could
You know what I
see
mean?
socks. They had those long socks, and I bet you they had an extra pair up here, you know?
Yeah, it was always disappointing. It's like if you're gonna go ahead and name your company that, that's what you better have. You know?
And let's be honest, what kind of chick wants to work at Hooters?
Hopefully one with big tits. I
Well,
mean, what
apparently
the
not. Usually it was like the town slut. You know, I dated one
Yeah, I
time.
mean, you have to be at a certain point in your life where like, yeah, this is where I belong.
And to be the dad, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey Bob, where's your daughter work again? Hooters. You know,
You know
you're gonna
damn
lie.
well where she works, Steve.
Yeah. Steve's always bringing it up at golf games and
Yeah.
stuff. Hey, Bobby, where's Emily
We get
work?
some fucking lunch after this? I don't know. I know a good spot around the corner. Got some decent wings.
Yeah, not even the wings were good. That place
Nothing's good. It's a fucking
yeah.
TGI Fridays with tits.
Well, minus
The
the
TGI
tits.
Fridays had better appetizers.
Yeah, and those are both closed. What's that tell you?
Wait,
don't su- don't support or support small businesses. Don't support
did
shitty.
TGI Fridays close?
Well, at least the ones in the towns out here, like Pleasanton and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
No, I always laugh when I like when you see it like 7-Eleven. There's like frozen TGI Fridays potato skins. It's like who was hankering so bad for
Yeah,
TGI Fridays
that's
potato
weird.
skins? They're like, I can't even make it to the restaurant. I got to bring these home with me. You know?
Right, right. I gotta have them now. Well, usually a fat person thinks like that, you know.
Well, yeah, but like if I
And I know
was,
it's so niche. It's so niche,
I
you
feel
know.
like if I was that fat, I would be way more like picky about like I would go bigger than a TGI Fridays,
That's true.
potato
That's
skin.
true.
I'd be
That's
like,
true.
get me a fucking like full stuffed potato from like a steak place, Like if I'm gonna
Yeah.
gain weight, let's do this with some fucking quality food.
Yeah, like a guy's gonna go in 7-Eleven, not grab that. He's gonna go to the front to the hot food and he's gonna go give me everything. Or
Yeah.
if he's insecure, he's gonna say, give me a little bit, go to the car, grab those glasses with the fake mustache, go back in and ask for more.
I've heard these are good.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take the rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it though. Like you go and you get the hot food because that's got some immediacy to it. I can understand that. It's like I
Yeah.
can eat this here. This is the only place I can get this. You're
Right.
going to a 7-Eleven to get something cold that you can get at a TGI Fridays hot.
Well, and listen, if you're fat, you're not getting something cold and where you got to heat up and wait. You want it now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fat because you're patient.
Right. Right. Exactly. You know, and this is why you should eat at McDonald's.
Yeah. And that's literally their entire selling point.
Right. Right. That's why they're in business. All the fast food chains.
Yeah.
It's for people that can't wait. That's why there's porn on the phone. People can't wait.
What a revolutionary thing. To think that there will never again be a generation that doesn't have immediately available porn.
Is that crazy?
I
And
mean,
same goes with the music too. Like you don't have to go to. I mean, it's sad, but no more going to Berkeley. I'm gonna go buy like 5 CDs. Like you know what I mean? And you're
yeah, that
finding
means
stuff.
nothing anymore.
Yeah, you could just find whatever.
I mean, you still find things. It's just different. It's but it is way more like transitory. Like I will like on Spotify, I'll have like playlists playing and I'll hear a lot of new music and I just won't remember any of who it is.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. It's not as personal anymore.
Yeah, I'm not like saving any songs. I'm like, yeah, this was a playlist I listened to. It's like I remember the playlist better than I remember the whoever the fuck was on it.
Well, and it's sad too, because like my kid, I got an 8-year-old, he's never going to have to like go into Music Warehouse or like a music store and lie, saying he's like old enough to buy a CD with Parental Advisory. You know,
Well, that's good though, because then you'll know he's a shitty liar.
that's true. That's true. I know there. I went to go buy the Eminem CD, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to like have your mom or your dad, say this is okay." And I said, "Well, they're not with me." And they're like, "Really? How'd you get here?" I was like, "Oh, my mom drove, but she's got a broken leg." And the guy was like, "Oh, I could talk to her." I was like, "Nah, never mind. It's stupid CD, anyways."
Well, so
But
you
yeah,
were a shitty liar too.
yeah, well, it runs in the family.
Yeah. I I got I tried to buy. I remember when I was with my mom, like at Tower Records, and I tried to buy the first South Park CD, the Chef Aid CD,
Okay.
and they had the big parental advisory on the front. And I almost got to the front, and then my mom saw. I was like, "Hey, wait a second, parental advisory." And then she looked at some of the songs, and it's like song number 2 was like Chocolate Salty Balls. It's like, no, put this
Yeah.
back.
And what does
But
it? And what does it? Wait, what does your mom think of you after that? He wants to listen to this.
I was like fucking 10 years old too. And then, but no, because this was the funny part was that she was like, all right, take it back, go get something else. And so I grabbed Chris Rock's CD, Bigger, Blacker, and Uncut, and she let me buy
Oh
that
yeah,
instead, which is so much worse.
that they didn't have the parent advisory on that.
They had to have. She must have just
Yeah.
missed it. But like,
Wow.
how could you just the name of it?
Yeah. Right. 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 That's so funny.
And like the big song at the time, which is why I wanted to buy it, was he had No Sex in the Champagne Room, which
Oh
was like
right.
just
That
him
was a
doing
bit.
jokes over like a beat, and then
Yeah.
someone saying like
Yeah.
No Sex in the Champagne Room, and
Yeah. That was cool.
like that was right in the back too. It's like how the fuck did she miss that? And then I'm listening to Chris Rock, and I'm guarantee that was much more you know shaping of my young psyche than like the South Park CD was. South Park had already ruined me a bunch already. Like there were too
Yeah.
she was too late to the game to try to stop that.
Well, that and wrestling were the things I did underground without them finding out. I would set the VHS, the tape when it was my bedtime because I would come on at like 10. I think 9 o'clock wrestling came on in like South Park. And they used to swear, like use the F word, and it was a
And
lot more raunchier in South Park.
what? No, they didn't. They made a big
Is it
deal
one?
about it when they started to use the F word, as you say.
Yeah. Well, I remember it being where it was taboo to watch.
I mean, it was definitely taboo to watch because it was still like one of the raunchier things on TV, just because of the amount of like shit jokes,
Yeah.
just the amount of poop stuff alone,
Yeah.
and then like the violence, all of like Kenny getting killed and shit like that, like that was more than most things on TV. And then, what wrestling were you watching?
The WWF.
Yeah, yeah. So you're in like Attitude Era WWF when it was just like
Oh no, 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 no. It was right when they merged. It was
right after the Monday Night
Triple
Wars.
H.
But that's still like the tail end
Yeah.
of the Attitude Era, and that's when
Yeah.
things were pretty fucking raunchy back then.
Yeah.
When you
Oh
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
we had like lingerie matches and
Right, right,
fucking
right.
blood all over the place and like people killing each other pretty much. One of the
Yeah.
storylines is that Triple H like drugged and raped Stephanie McMahon. Like shit
Oh my
was
god.
wild on WWF
No
back
wonder I
then.
like that. No
Yeah, it
wonder I
was
like
fucking insane.
it. Yeah, that.
I was a bigger WCW fan before the merger. That's what I watched.
See, all that shaped me.
Yeah.
That celebrity death match with the
Yeah.
Clays, and they would kill each
They
other.
tried to bring that back and it was just not as good. I think once like
Yeah,
a generation grew up and saw how fucking dumb it was.
yeah, yeah. But it was
Because
so
you watch them
current.
now and it's like literally like 3 jokes per episode and then just like a bunch of like people getting murdered,
Right, right. But it was like cool to see like current celebrities fight each other, and
Yeah, yeah, it was good.
yeah,
It was good pop culture zeitgeist stuff. Everyone wanted to see Britney Spears get like run over with a lawnmower or whatever the fuck happened. Like that was
yeah,
all things that like 12-year-old me wanted to see was like a bunch of
right,
celebrities dying.
right,
Like
right,
that was very cathartic to someone who was like just getting used to pop culture. You know.
right. Well, and then shape my relationship is Road Rules, Real World.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like
you're
you're like
into
a
that.
kid watching it. You're like, Oh my god,
Like,
you didn't even know what cheating was. Jesse cheated on
yeah,
Anthony.
yeah. Just like way too much information for like a
Yeah.
fucking little kid to be diving
And you're
into.
like trying to hook up with two chicks at your
Yeah,
age.
you're
You
like,
don't know what you're doing.
they did it on TV. It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of wrestling, but my dad was super into wrestling, and so I never had a problem getting to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Especially that's WCW had all like the old WWF guys from like they had like the Hulk Hogan's and the
Right.
Macho
Sting.
Mans and
Oh,
Sting
that
and
old.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they had all those guys, and so like that's the one my dad liked to watch, and so me and my brother would watch it too, and he didn't give a shit. He was, if anything, he loved it. It was like bonding
Yeah.
for us. Shit, when we went up and painted our house, like our his house last weekend or 2 weeks ago, and all we did was talk about wrestling most of the time. Like,
Your
so I
mom,
mean,
your mom's like, shut the fuck up.
but no, I mean she's gotten used to it. She
Yeah.
doesn't not enjoy it, but she's
Well,
definitely not as big a fan as him.
I think too, women and men, as they get older and they get better at tuning out.
Yeah.
She's probably not even listening to you
Well,
guys. She's in her
now that
own
everyone's got
dimension.
iPads and shit too, they don't have to like talk to each other.
Well,
It's
that's
great.
another thing too. No more being bored on the road trip like we were. You know what I had one time? This is the only thing I had going to LA and some fucking comic books. That Gizmo pet or
Oh, like a Tamagotchi type shit.
Tamagotchi, yes.
Yeah.
And God, I can't even. If you gave that to a kid
If you
now
give
and
that
said
to a kid now, they would like, what is this
they would break it.
Stone Age bullshit? They would throw
Yeah,
it over a ridge. They would be done with that shit instantly. And to be fair, I totally understand it. Those things were fucking stupid.
but this is mind blowing. Our kids are gonna have a podcast or whatever virtual cast, and they're gonna be talking shit about iPads and
They're gonna be like,
PlayStation
yeah, all we had
5s.
was Super Smash Bros. It's like, what the fuck, like,
That's all you need.
what do these kids have now? Like, yeah, that the next generation, like, everything before us was like a cup and ball, like pushing a
Yeah.
stick with a fucking or hoop with a stick,
They're
and
gonna be
now,
like, yeah, good thing they don't have those white claws anymore. It killed a
yeah,
lot of people with the cancer sugar.
hell yeah. That's if that's the way I go, that's the way I go. I'll
Die
accept
by
that
white
fate.
claw.
Yeah, death by white
That is
claw, whatever. That's a
that's
white
pretty
man's
bad.
death.
That's pretty badass. Death by
Yeah,
white claw.
right. I mean, what am I gonna go out in a hospital bed like some kind of pussy?
It is, you know what? It is kind of cool. I'd rather die partying than dying in like a bed of cancer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh, how'd he go out? He was trying to triple backflip ollie on the wakeboard.
yeah, yeah. And I'll still do that. I'll still give. That's the thing is if you keep doing that stuff when you're over 70, you probably will die from it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
over
that's the
30.
plan. That's why like there's this guy in the rugby community who just died recently, and he was like 72, and he was still playing rugby. And
That is
I'm
crazy. Hey,
I like
hey,
could not believe he
I
didn't
should,
die on the field.
I hate to say this. You should expect to die if you're 70 playing rugby.
I
Jesus
mean,
Christ, dude.
it was insane, and you never like every year it was the same thing. Is like, is he gonna fucking lace his boots up again? And he would every single time, and he'd
That's a
call you a
movie.
pussy if you didn't hit him,
Wow.
and it was nuts. But he also died. he also
Unrelated
died.
to rugby,
He
though.
also died. Well, he didn't die on the field like we expected him to. We expected him to be like fucking Luke Skywalker, just fucking disappear into his robes, and like that's how we expected it to
He
happen.
just goes into one of the balls.
Yeah, just like, and that's how we thought it was gonna be.
That's funny.
I don't know. I don't know what he died of. It's probably not unrelated.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like even playing in your 30s is crazy.
I mean, yeah,
You
I'm
know?
32, and it's
Yeah.
but I mean, there's still guys playing in their 40s and shit. I don't know. It's not insane. I mean,
You're not doing as big a hits or tackles, right?
I
Yeah.
I'm
Can't look like a pussy, basically.
yeah. I mean, why do it if you're not going to? It's one of those things that like if you're gonna take it half speed, then someone else out there is gonna rock your shit.
Comedy. Comedy. Yeah, no,
Comedy,
I
but
mean,
yeah, comedy you can do half speed. That's easy, you know.
yeah, but it's not good. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's
why
not
do
good,
it?
but no, there's not
Yeah,
gonna be some fucking Samoan taking your head off if you
that's true. That's true.
do a
That's
bad
true.
joke, you know, or you
Well,
or you.
maybe if you're
Well,
talking shit
maybe
about Samoans.
if you do a show in Hayward, maybe.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Have you almost been punched on stage or?
No, I think I never really do anything. I never like really harass people that much that are in the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
Plus, I'm also like one of the bigger comics.
Hmm.
You know, it's
Yeah, you do have
they.
nice muscles.
I think people in the Bay Area aren't that aggressive. I'm
Yeah.
going to Boston in September, and
Oh.
we'll see what it's. We'll see if things change while I'm there. You
Oh, they're
know.
gonna be calling you fat ghoulies and
Yeah,
yelling at you.
I'm gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
dealing with a different crowd, but we'll
But
see
you
how
know what?
that
That's
goes.
good. That's good for you because they say to hit, you're supposed to hit different crowds. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to be trying stuff out. I mean, that's a good thing. Like, it's nice that I run a few different rooms, but they're all basically the same type of crowd. You know,
Young
fairly
hipsters,
similar. Yeah,
20s,
hipsters, some
something.
black, some white, some the general mix of like Oakland and San Francisco. But
Yeah.
I've done a few shows where like, yeah, I definitely am like, well, none of these jokes are gonna work. I gotta like rethink everything. Like you go up.
Right. Right.
I did a show up. I used to, my a friend of mine used to run a tap room up in Calusa. You ever been up there?
Mm-mm.
It's like kind of near in between like Redding and Sacramento,
Oh, okay.
and it's like middle of nowhere. Not no, there's
Okay.
not like nobody there, but it's not a big town. But he owned like one of the bigger like bars slash tap rooms, and so he'd pay me to come and do a show every once in a while. And you get there and I'm just like, man, I can't do any jokes about woke or anything like that.
Right.
These people
Right.
don't
Right.
know. They don't give a shit, you know?
No, they want you to be crude and say
Yeah,
whatever's on your
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, we had Chelsea Bierce up there and she killed it because,
Yeah.
that's her people's, she just
Right. Right.
fucking yells at people in the crowd and asks them if they've been fucking and shit like that. So works out
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah,
But
but see that only works in certain rooms, you know what I mean? You can't really be doing that in a daytime show or people eating. I can't do my shit and run story. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I did that yesterday at like a show that was at like 5:45 p.m. and like yeah, it's fully light,
Yeah.
pouring into the room, and I'm like
Yeah.
asking people if they ever fake orgasms and shit, and you're just like, how much do people really want to talk to me right now?
Right, right.
But whatever. I just the at a certain point, you know, if even if you if I mean even if you could force a joke down
Yeah.
someone's throat and it works, it
Yeah.
still counts.
Right.
Like if you can have that skill in your belt, that's good. And it's also a skill to know when you're when you need to do a different set. I mean, that's also a
Yeah,
skill.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's some people.
and also too, like, like when you're up there and you maybe do a style of joke and it goes completely quiet, you're like, eesh,
Yeah,
I
and
gotta go
that's
in
a
a
good
different
indicator. It's
direction.
like, okay, maybe I should lay off this one.
Yeah.
Because you see some people do that, and you're like, they just press on. You're like, you knew that was a bad idea, and if you
Right.
didn't know that was a bad idea, you really need to fucking watch some tape of yourself. Like
Right, right.
there's a lot of people that like think like, well, this is who I am. I'm undeniable. It's like, well, no, you're not. If you were that good,
Yeah.
you wouldn't still be in the Bay Area.
Well, and it's not even that. It's like, are people laughing? That's the number one thing.
Yeah, yeah. If I mean, you're just fucking it up for everybody else at this point.
Yeah, yeah. And they haven't grown because that's like when you first start kind of attitude. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's like I did a year of doing my mics at Mutiny Radio, and like people need to hear all of this shit, and it's like, no, not everyone wants to hear this shit. Like that's why I was laughing about all the park mics and stuff. It's like all the people who like I gotta like keep doing comedy. I'll do a mic even if it's at a park. It's like you are
Right.
not gonna get better because you did
Yeah,
a mic in a park, because all you're
right,
doing comedy to is other comics who are willing to do park mics, and it's like
right.
that's just, I mean, you're sure you get reps and there's value in that, but it wasn't like you got better because you did it for these people, you know?
Well, and it's like, how good are the reps if you're not really getting a reaction? See, I started doing the park mics, and I just wasn't getting anything, and it was more, I was getting more depressed.
Yeah,
I just go up there and bomb.
I think it would make me feel worse. I mean,
Yeah,
especially because everyone's got different style. There's a lot of people who will, you know, they go up and just kind of bullshit on stage, and that's how they figure things out. And
yeah,
sure, there's some value in that, but like, if your job is like you're trying out different tags and trying to see
yeah,
different things that work, like
yeah.
you're not going to get any value out of that.
Right, right,
You're going to
right,
see
right.
maybe what other comics like, but other comics are not always the best. Most of the time are not the best gauge.
Indicators.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, they're not. Yeah, because I think we kind of become immune to certain jokes. It's really got to be a good one to, you know, make us
yeah,
laugh.
yeah,
But
or we become too where some of us are too partial to like certain jokes that aren't going to work on most people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I seem like I do better when I do more crowd work, but I don't want to rely on that. So I do continue to try to write jokes and all that.
Yeah, I try to make it a mix. I try to make it so that I try to make crowd work never the end of the joke. Crowd work can be the start of the joke. It can be like
Yeah,
how I, but as long like every crowd work interaction I'm doing, I usually have like a pretty specific route out of it. You know,
yeah, yeah. Right, right. You're like
no
setting up
matter
a
what
joke. You're like
no
setting
matter
up a
what
joke
these,
using
yeah,
them.
exactly. No matter
Yeah,
what these people say, well, even if I'm not setting up a joke, even if I am just trying to bullshit, it's
yeah.
just like I have the ability to end this interaction whenever I need to. And I think that's
Right,
really
right,
important because sometimes audience they either want to talk not enough or they want to talk too much,
right, right, right.
and just being able to like snap out and being able to carry on from there, I think is good. But it doesn't mean that I'm like not writing stuff. It just means that
Right.
like, and sometimes these interactions you can get a lot out of them. It's very helpful, and it's crowd work's important. But yeah, you're
Well,
right. I mean,
don't you think a big factor with the writing and making sure you're keeping up with your stuff is the fear of bombing?
well, I never bombed, so I don't know. No, that's not true. I bombed Saturday night. Ooh, that was the worst one in a while.
Oh,
uh
with the Laura chick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was kind of a crazy night. Like it was kind of stressful, and like we kind of oversold the show, and
Of course, she's big.
yeah, and so we had like a bunch of like we were just like me and Janice were running around trying to get things set up, and then it was like, okay, we got to start this show, and I go on stage, and I'm used to being the host and like having people like kind of like in and out paying attention, but it was like
Yeah,
people straight up just like not giving a shit, or people
yeah.
just like stone faced staring at me with a set that I know is good.
Right, right, right,
But
right.
it was just like, and then on top of that, it's in the middle of the Tenderloin, and so across the street, there's these people just blasting music on speakers throughout the entire show, and it was like
Uh,
the most distracting fucking thing in the world. To the point that like me and Janesh, like after both of our sets, the feature was up, and we're like, Janesh was like, we should go ask. Maybe we should just go ask them to turn it down. I was like
uh,
laughing to myself. I was like, bro, this is a terrible idea,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
want to see him try. So I told him, yeah, let's do it. And so
Uh,
we walk across the street, and as we're like 30 feet away from the speakers, Janesh turns to me. He goes, "This is a bad idea, isn't it?" I was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, man, it's a terrible idea. We're in the middle of the
yeah.
fucking Tenderloin. These people are gonna turn their music down for us.
Right,
We're doing a
right.
comedy show, guys. Can you keep it
Yeah.
down?" Like
What you say,
fucking
motherfucker?
little Indian dude, like a fucking
Yeah,
white dude, with like a Hawaiian shirt on. It's like, guys, we're trying to have fun over here, and it's also they were smoking crack as we were walking up to them. So I was like, yeah,
yeah.
maybe
So
we shouldn't be
you guys
as
just turned
as
around?
yeah, we fucking never mind. We ate shit and just kind of let. They played music throughout Lara's entire set. I mean, she made it
Uh,
funny. She was interactive with it, but it was frustrating. I mean, that's
yeah, and that's the whole thing that, I just started running some shows with a buddy, and it's like you don't realize what a host and someone that runs a show go through until you're doing it. And like I've gotten that where I've done a host set and people aren't paying attention, and you feel like kind of dog shit, but at the same time, it's part of it.
yeah. I mean, you're biting the bullet so other people don't have to. That's your job.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. And me and Janesh were like, we ate shit, but the feature did great, and the host and the Lara did great, and like, you know, as long as people were paying attention and enjoying them, like that was our
Yeah.
job. Like
Yeah.
that's I did. I mean, yeah, I would have, but it was just tough because I was like, I'm so sure of this set. I was so confident in the set, and then
Right.
like this, I've got this hot new closer that's killing every time, and then I just
Yeah.
got stone faced, zero reactions,
So weird.
and it was just like, what the fuck? And it
I
was like
did.
on top of all the stress of everything else. It's like, because normally, like it's a
Yeah.
stressful show. At least you go up, you have a good set, and it's like, well, this is why I do this, And then you go up and you have a shit set. You're like, why do I do this bullshit?
Right. 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 Yeah. 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 That's when you need to get another set in ASAP.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why. Yeah, and the next night I did too to just like get it out of my system.
Right. Right. It's kind of like when you bang an ugly chick and then you gotta
Yeah,
go.
yes. You're like a streak breaker, or what do you call them?
Yeah. I forget the terms. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
I know a slump breaker. That's what it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we at with time? Oh, we're
Oh,
good.
we got
We're
some
good.
time. We got like
Okay. Cool.
20-ish minutes. Yeah.
I did a show with her in the future.
Oh, you did the Friday
Friday.
night show. Yeah, we
Yeah.
set that up for her.
Yeah, and it was just me, him, and her. I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
this
So
is pretty
you
cool.
hosted?
No, Casey hosted.
Oh yeah, but Casey,
But he
doesn't.
doesn't. Yeah.
He does his like 5 minutes of like, hey, thanks for being here. Enjoy the
Right.
food.
Right.
Here's
Like.
a couple like here's like 3 jokes about people that I know in the audience, and then here's your next guy.
Right.
Which is
Right.
okay. I don't mind that. I think that's not a bad thing, but I do mind when you don't know that's what they're gonna do. And they don't
Right.
tell you beforehand. That was my one beef. Is like I like Patrick Ford over at the Alameda Comedy Club. He's a very nice guy, and he put me on a showcase. I was like, oh, really thankful for it. And then I go to the showcase, and it's like, oh, he's hosting, and I know he's a comic. He used to do comedy, L.A. for a while, and I was like, okay, cool. So Patrick's gonna host for it. And then he goes up and he's like, oh, yeah, he's just talking about the food for like 5 minutes. He's like, here's your first comic. I was like, wait, what the fuck was that?
Dude, that happened to me on my birthday. I was on that showcase on my birthday inside, and beforehand, he didn't say I had to wear a mask or a face shield.
Visor?
So I put the face shield on. I go up there, and I'm not gonna just blame my bad set on that, but it didn't help. You know what I mean? I'm looking at a reflection of myself. Can't see the crowd.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and everyone in the crowd knew other comedians, and
yeah,
and
he's got those real bright. He's got the real bright lights on the stage too.
Oh yeah, I ate a big dick, and afterwards I realized I'm never booking a show on my birthday. That was horrible.
Yeah. It's not. I don't. It was Janesh's birthday on Saturday. I felt bad for him for eating shit. He did bad. He did better than me, but we both couldn't. I was like, yeah, you just got to feel pretty bad to like bomb on your birthday.
Yeah.
Don't take that risk.
Yeah, I'm never taking that risk again. But like you said, it happens, and I enjoyed the show Friday. I was shocked though. The guy who went after me, her opener, was just like reading jokes off his phone.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't doing that at ours.
But they had a long drive and stuff. To me, I just thought maybe 80 people isn't a lot to them because they do big shows.
I mean, yeah, she's a touring headliner now. I mean, she's doing big shit, and I think he travels with her a lot, or maybe he just didn't respect you. Could also be that.
No, I'm talking about just like in the show, like 80 people to me is a lot, but maybe to them. So he was like, just maybe practice. Like that's an open mic. That's like an open mic to them. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, to him, I don't think he's big enough to be doing something like that. But it's also the fact that like it's kind of low stakes. It's not like he's the one who's like not going to get booked again up there because of that.
That's true.
Plus, if it did well, who gives a shit?
Right.
Like we had the second time we did that Chambers show, we had Dave Ross on the show, and this was mostly because it was first time doing a long set in a long time.
Yeah.
But he had to read off his phone for like the second half of the show because he was just like, I haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people are just kind of getting back into it.
Right. I guess sometimes
that other guy, what did he do? Like a 20-minute set?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should probably do that without his phone.
Yeah. So I don't know. I observe and I think, what should I do? And
Read off your phone.
that's like, apparently
That's what
because
that it was your takeaway. I was like, I should just fucking read my
that's
jokes
so
off the fucking
that's how you tour with a headliner.
storyboard. That's how
Yeah.
you get it in.
Now he was good at crowd work and stuff. That's a good place for crowd work. And like you said, when the host, this is what my problem was with Alameda on my birthday. I should have gone for more crowd work because there wasn't much up top with the host.
Yeah.
Because I did that
Yeah.
I did that
You got to ease them
Friday and
into
it
it.
killed. It
Yeah.
killed because they're, yeah, like you said, ease them in.
Yeah.
And what I liked about Laura, I asked her before the show, I was like, do you have any do's and don'ts? And she goes, just be dirty, like making them used to that, because she was really dirty.
Yeah, and that's a good point too when you're working with like a headliner is like know who your headliner is up top. Like when I did
Yeah.
Scott Kapoor,
Yeah.
we hosted for like Scott Kapoor, I was like doing all of my dirtiest shit because I was just saying like in the middle of my set, like guys, if you don't like this, you should leave now because
Yeah.
you are
Right.
not
Right.
gonna like Scott.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I've never seen him. I'm gonna have to check him out.
oh, Scott Kapoor is a treat. He's kind of like a he's one of those like Bay Area legend type guys. I mean, he doesn't
Oh,
live
okay.
here anymore. He lives in London, so
Oh
he's
shit.
kind of a bigger deal in London than he is here. But he is also a longtime staple on 97.3 on the Sarah and Vinny show, and so he
Okay.
has kind of a radio following, and as
Oh,
well as like
that's good to
so he
know.
kind of has his own fan base in the
Yeah.
Bay Area, and he's very funny, and he is incredibly dirty, incredibly offensive.
That's cool.
He's he's very funny. He was yeah. I don't know how long he was doing comedy in the Bay. I mean, 20, 25 years at least, because he was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh shit. What was that,
Yeah.
40 years ago?
Well, man, when you say it like that, I think what 30,
Mm-hmm.
30,
Mm-hmm.
25.
I would say 30, maybe a little less. Yeah.
Mid 90s, right? Let's go 25 to 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
he's been in the game a long time. But he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you ever get a chance to check him out, I think he's been doing this. He like twice a year he'll spend a month in the Bay and he will do shows in the Bay and always check him out. Amazing crowd work and just a funny guy and a
Is
very
it
very nice guy too.
how do you find these people to book? Are you just hitting people up?
Let's see. For the first, I mean, we've done this show about 6 times. The first show we kind of asked around. I actually tried to book Laura for the first show, but we tried to get some with more local pools since we didn't know how
Yeah.
easy it was going to be to market. So we
Yeah.
went with Sammy Obeid, and because we know
Oh, right,
Sammy,
right,
and so
right,
that was
right, right.
a simple one.
Yeah.
And then once we kind of got the word out that we were looking for headliners, people would kind of offer stuff up and be like, "Hey, I have good connections with this person." People want to do a
Right.
good turn for their friends, and so
Right.
that's how we got Dave Ross. Was that Cassim Bentley recommended
Oh,
Dave
right.
for us, and was basically and this was early. This is like October, November of the pandemic, and that's like
Yeah.
when things were just opening up. So people were like, "Oh, I can get 45 minutes stage time and get paid for it." And get a
Right.
hotel room. So we
Right.
hooked them all up with that, and so we are able to do like pay better for that show, and then once we were able to start getting 2 shows in a night, then we could really pay people.
Yeah.
And that was when we started getting Scott because Scott because he has that draw, he's a bit more expensive.
Right. Right.
But I knew Scott. I mean, knew Scott from around the Bay Area. I had met him a couple times, and had tried to book him for other things but he was out of town. So I already had a kind of a rapport with him. And then we booked Mikey Winfield because well, we tried to book him for another show in Oakland and that fell through and we felt really bad because
Yeah.
no one likes canceling on a guy. So we booked
Right.
him for this one and we're able to pay and kind of make up for that last one. And Mikey's a really nice guy and he's a really funny guy. And so but we knew it's not hard to like get a hold of people. I mean, honestly, Laura, I just message her on Instagram. Like
Yeah. I feel like comedians are like cooler than rock stars, like easier to get a hold of.
Well, I mean, it helps if you have a little bit of reputation. At least like
Right.
I have like a proof of producer because I've had a couple articles in the newspaper.
Right.
With
Right.
like shows
Right.
that I've
Right.
produced, and so like I
Yeah.
can always
Yeah.
point this and be like, listen, I'm a real person.
Right.
I will pay you
Right.
this money. I will.
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
it,
Some credibility. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
because they don't want to come all the way up here for.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the biggest stretch we got, I mean, uh, Lara was, like I said, and this is her Instagram, but Lori Kilmartin was definitely the biggest stretch that we got,
Oh
and that
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
connection. That was definitely like a connections through other people thing. Like
Right.
somebody, a friend of a friend who had worked with her before, gave us her email. We reached out, and Lori was a real sweetheart. She was very nice about it, and was like, "Yeah, well, we'll work it out." She's got connections in the Bay, so I think she stayed with friends up here. Oh no, she didn't know. We booked her a hotel, but she had friends up here. She's from Walnut Creek,
Oh,
and
I didn't know
so
that.
yeah, so she was making a
That's
bunch of
cool.
Walnut Creek jokes during this show.
Oh,
It
that's
was pretty
cool.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because, I mean, I don't think our shows are at maybe that level, but eventually, like I was even thinking about like when comedians come into town, like
I
would
mean,
they do
always
shows,
offer it. If you
Yeah.
have stage time and you can pay for it, just reach out and say like this.
You ask what their fee is and stuff too.
I mean, well, do you you can do it one of two ways. As one, you can say, "This is what I pay. This is how much time you could do.
Uh-huh.
If you're willing to come out, you would be more than welcome."
Yeah.
Or you can ask, or you can say, if you're talking. I mean, it really depends on who you're talking to. If you know them at all, knowing
Right, right,
people is
right.
much simpler.
Yeah.
But as for like for someone you don't know their worth. Kind of
Right,
ask
right,
around
right,
and try to
right.
figure out like, am I paying a reasonable thing? Having a
Yeah.
budget. Um,
Yeah.
it's there's plenty of people who will do work for less money, but there's some people will be insulted if you say like I
Yeah.
I can only pay this, and it's like they get the offers a lot, but sometimes they'll take it if they're not doing anything. Some people just want to just run through reps.
Well, and the other thing too is I guess this is the time they get bigger comedians because shows are still kind of in limbo a little bit, you know?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's becoming less of a thing. I think we
Yeah.
still have to now. We're starting to have to pay decently to be able to like really. If
Okay.
you want to get talent to travel, if they're
Yeah.
already in town, that's
Yeah.
another story, you know.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
want to get them to travel, you pony up a little bit because you're
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, you can't just like. It's if a local comic does a $20 show, he made $20. If somebody had to drive 50 miles to do it $100 show,
Right.
or like had to drive 100 miles to do $100 show, then they made maybe $50, and
Right.
they're a real comic.
Yeah. Well, I like how you told Casey about it and kind of hooked her up with another show because I think maybe that's something comedians should do.
Well,
You know what I mean?
absolutely, and it's just help. I mean, it's helpful for us because it
Right. Right.
makes a weekend, it makes a trip worthwhile for her. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
ideally, every producer in the Bay Area is talking to each other and says, "Hey, look, I have this person coming up, but they're not. And as long as you're not, and this is why people talk about like no compete clauses and like why Live Nation is kind of hard to book those people because you can't use their name to advertise because they have a no compete clause, right?
Okay.
Because if you're in the same area as them within
Uh-huh.
like a certain mile radius, then you can't use their name to advertise
Uh,
because they like their name is what's advertising the show to other people in the Bay Area for this weekend of shows that they're doing at the Punchline or at Cobb's.
okay.
But if you have the budget, if you can sell a show yourself and like, that person's going to be there anyways, you can reach out and, or if like I have a person coming up for a Saturday, but I don't have a Friday night show for her and you're up in fucking Sonoma, why wouldn't I give it to you?
Right.
Like why
Right.
wouldn't we
Right.
help each other out with this? I also talk to people in Santa Cruz and I talk to people,
Right.
wherever and say, if I've got a person coming up, I'll let you know. And maybe we can work something out.
Okay.
And I even told her, I was like, if you want any stage time, any other days you're up here, just let me know and I'll find it for you because
Yeah.
it helps me. People are
Right.
grateful
Right.
when you are making that connection.
Right. Yeah. No, I'll have to let you know what days we do shows. 'Cause we do one. We do two. One at Retro Junkie, which
And Retro Junkie is a
Drea.
good spot. You can
Yeah.
put a lot of people in that spot.
Yeah, yeah. We actually had a decent number on the Warriors game. We had it last Wednesday with Warriors Lakers. I
Oh
saw
yeah,
you canceled. I saw
we
you
had to
said fuck it.
cancel. Yeah,
We
dude,
risked
no
it. We
way that
risked
would,
it.
no way that would work out at Mad Oak. That would be a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah, we risked it. But we obviously didn't make the same amount of money or the same amount of money at the bar.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. I was like, I hosted. I was like, I'm grateful that you guys watch soccer, not basketball.
Yeah,
Uh,
you'd be surprised how many people don't give a shit about sports.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, dude, really happy you came on.
No, this is fun, man. Appreciate you having me.
Usually, I'm a little more goofier on the podcast, but I like that we went and talked about producing
We're
because that's,
businessmen. We're men
yeah,
of business.
I like that. And you mentioned the 71-year-old who was still playing rugby and died. We'll just say he died on the field. That's more, and he
Yeah,
went into the ball.
he died. He died because I killed him on the field. I tackled him.
Not Asian, not Asian, white guy.
Yeah, white guy, very white.
Very white. Blonde hair, blue eye. I think he
Yeah,
had a swastika.
he is. Well, I never saw him with a shirt off, thank God. But I can't say he didn't have a swastika on his
Oh,
chest.
and by the way, congrats on the weight loss.
Oh, thank you.
I
I'm
jerked off.
probably gonna put it right back on, so don't clap too fast.
Well, me and the boys jerked off to your photos. That
Hey,
was
thanks. That's honestly, I got more. I got more comments on those pictures from gay men than from anyone else. I wouldn't have
more
it
than
any other
your
way.
girlfriend didn't even see
Hey,
him. Right?
real recognize real. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I'll take these compliments.
Hey, any stuff you want to plug?
Just follow F Bomb Comedy on Instagram. We do weekly show at Mad Oak in Oakland. We're doing our show at Luca's in Oakland. We're going to be taking indoors next month. So Juneteenth, we're going to have the Juneteenth extravaganza at Luca's. Hofkutch, we do second Thursdays in Oakland. It's right off Telegraph Street and 25th. And then San Francisco, we got Chambers. I'm not sure what's happening with that. I think we're going to change the format a little bit because of the reopening and stuff. That's going to change a lot of things. And then we do one at Seven Stills in San Francisco as well. It's a pretty cool spot. It's in Mission Bay, and it's like a distillery, and that's going to be going indoors too. So you can finally laugh indoors and not have to freeze your fucking ass off all the time. So check us out, F Bomb Comedy, and hopefully see you at a show.
You heard it there, guys. Give it up for Marty. All right, I'm the only one here. The bartender is left. All right, dude. I'll see ya.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And gone.
And gone. I gotta do one more thing. Our sponsor. I gotta talk about them. If not, they're gonna kill me. All right, literally, they're gonna kill me. The are the mafia. No, Silver Tongue Audio. They're great. Without them, this podcast wouldn't be here. You guys might want that, but if you're still watching, probably not. You're probably enjoying it. So go to silvertongueaudio.org. Support them because they support me. And also go on the website and find free downloads, like my podcast, all 183, right there. Free download, no charge, no hidden fee, free. And they also have a podcast called Dazed and Disturbed. It's a horror podcast that shines light on those creepy subjects with the help of Mary Jane. So go check out Dazed and Disturbed. And then NPC podcast, non-player character podcast. It's a video game podcast. You guys know that I talk about all the time. It's a fun podcast to listen to with your friends, or if you're playing video games, or if you're on the bus watching a guy jerk off. So go check out the NPC podcast, Dazed and Disturbed, and mine, all at silvertongueaudio.org. All right, guys, that's been the podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.